for Allah. Love is life. Oh, yes, love and wisdom to all. It's a blessing to see another day. So we're going to open up on the Sufa 68. Sufa 68. 68 and 8. Truly, if one honors the memory of Abraham and all his descendants, honor the covenant, the law, and the way of Islam. The memory of Abraham, he is the to us divine and what we would call civilization in our terms, civilization to man. So Islam to all who follow the covenant, the law, and the way of Islam. Abraham was the first to honor the covenant of Allah. To honor is a very powerful word, and covenant is a very powerful word. Covenant is a word that has been hidden from us due to contracts. So contracts have taken the place of what we call our code of honor, our covenant. So the covenant has always been alive. And so we must understand in the time that we have been denied our covenant to accept another's covenant, which is a contract. To do business as. What's more powerful, a covenant or a contract? A covenant is between man and his creator. A contract is between man and man. From man to man. And this is why we got to have. So as we open up our divine meeting in honor of the covenant, the law, and the way of Islam, we open in the name of the divine creator. So today, our subject matter is going to be something that we need to discuss and to cover, and especially with some new politics lingering around. It's going to be some new political actions, and these are going to be political actions.
Yeah, new covenant, a new cabinet. They already talking about new cabinet.
Oh yeah, yeah, new everything, but not covenant.
Yeah.
And so these things going down around. So you have to be to understand how you need to manage yourself of circumstances created by others. And so the question becomes, the question of hardship. When experience hardships in the land of America, those hardships includes having a very significant low amount of money. We have found out through experience that having no money or low money is the issue that we need to discuss as a form of hardship. Our people say we're doing bad when we low on money. We say we ain't got it when we low on money. They say I'm between a rock and a hard place when it comes to what I got to do next with the money. And so we have to bring this to the topic of discussion. And who else better than K.O.S. to bring this topic to discussion of money and hardships, and money being linked to the lowest of the hardships. Let's say you got children and you don't have enough money to put food on your table. These are the extremes of hardships. And we can consider that if you had some money, you would be able to put some food on the table. So someone created money as a means of exchange. As a means of exchange. So we want to ask the question, are you going to be poor? And this has got to be thought about now that the land and the corporate policy will be moving on a different accord. And so the rich gets richer, in other words, and the poor gets poor. Now we have to ask ourselves, do we worship poverty? And this is a general question that we begin to ask ourselves. Do we worship poverty? Is poverty of Islam? Or is poverty something we picked up? So we're going to do some examination of poverty from the word of Allah. We're going to start off with Sufa 85. Now, the reason for this is because this is a similar experience. This is a similar experience that a lot of us is having. And it shouldn't be a similar experience unless we all doing similar things. And these similar things is worshiping outside of your own covenant. This has led us to a false concept of poverty and a false concept of being poor. In other people systems in a way, poor is to be next to Christ. In other systems, poor is something that is like the king who has all the wealth. Like in Buddhism. Abraham, what is poverty in Islam? Because we got to have a whole new character change of language. We're going to work our way because we're going to need new words to build new worlds. And that's what we're working our way into. But we got to understand the foundation of why we are restricting ourselves. Belief in another system in your covenant, the law. Let's read Sufa 85 and 22. It is not by one's estate. It is not by one's estate. And you know in America you deal with estates. So it is not by one's estate, but by character. But by character that a man is either wealthy or in poverty. So our standard is based upon character, not materiality. One's estate would be the materiality of a person, what a person has accumulated life as belonging. That's not according to our covenant. We view a man or woman by character. If you are poor in character, then you are in poverty. But as long as you rich in character, you are considered wealthy by our covenant and standard of law and the way of Islam. I'm glad, yeah. because us in America, we can get a good glimpse of this. People pass away, they call it their estate. And so when they dealing with their estate, they ain't dealing with the character of a person. They're dealing with the property of the person. So that's a clear example that those customs are not our customs. And to be talking about an estate is not our custom. That's someone else's custom. See, and this is the difference between contract and covenant. So dealing with a evidence that estates is in the culture, and if we can find who is this, then we can understand who customs they belong to. So let us pull that. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna pull that up. Give us some time to pull this up so we can get the proper knowledge on the screen. Cause these ain't pre-scripted teachings.
I heard that.
You're right. This is on the fly. Straight from the heart. Yeah, we got all the documentation to prove everything.
Or it's good when you can speak the truth and back it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we got on the screen, right? We got the word estate on the screen.
Look at that.
And this is coming from lawful definition.
Mm-hmm. So they can see the real deal now. They get in the real deal.
Yes, we in the real deal. It's going, and it's all about money. So this is going to be very good for us to be aware of, because we got a chance to turn this completely around with the understanding of the way of Islam. Now, this is coming out of the canon. So Article 99, estate. Canon 2022. Estate is a fictional concept.
Did you hear that, y'all? Wait a minute. No.
A fictional concept. It don't even exist.
So
these customs that we following are fiction.
Science fiction now fixed it up for the consumer.
This contracts have done. And they build, they track.
Like a dog track.
Right. Like a path, a road, away from the divine creator.
Track.
Away from the covenant. So a contract is a fictional concept. See, now we understand estate is a contract, and a contract is an estate. An estate is a fictional concept first created during the reign of Henry VIII. Do I need to say any more of where estate belongs and who are these customs belonging to? The reign of Henry VIII of England. Through statutes concerning wills and of property. Act of 1540. To describe the existence and the collection of a trust, of a master trust. Uh-oh. The word master.
A master trust.
So we see the wordplay shifts.
Yeah.
It's not based on character.
Yeah.
It's based on property.
Yeah.
And these covenants belong to England.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that explains what you just said, this master trust. So this explains why the master trust got, and whatever you own upon the land, which Europeans don't own, but somehow they're in charge of the land and the taxes and the property.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And this is how they did it. And this is what you have to be aware of yourself in order for you to come out of poverty. This is what's keeping the hardship of money.
Okay.
Because you're following another's customs
Right. Oh.
to the way of money.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with not how much money, how much character is behind the money. We wouldn't care how much money you got. It could be low or high.
Yeah.
The character, when we're talking the way of Islam,
his character lives. That ain't good.
This isn't good. And especially for people who follow this way. This way leads to a person becoming poor. Because now somebody with more money than you can come rule over you.
That's correct.
They have weaker or lesser character, low morals. So we're talking about morals and moralization. How high is someone's morals when it comes to character? See, so if other men is controlling your affairs, this is signs and the symptoms of it. See, certain words is going to come into play because these words belong to their contracts. See, you got to know your covenant so you know what words belong to your covenant so you take nothing that you don't supposed to take. Because the enemy is coming with the contract. He ain't coming with the divine covenant. Stole all of, we working our way.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. We get to know this.
Oh yeah, this gonna be plain as day.
And this one comes out of Sufa 138:28. So now that we bringing in these words, now we can have an establishing point. And this is understand how the transition occurred. As say you was once kings and queens. And now how did it reverse? Someone new ain't telling you what they know. They making you sign contracts. And these contracts is a form of taking you away from the covenant. So Islam has nothing to do with any of these processes. Poverty breeds ignorance. This is why we have to be very careful of poverty. Poverty, as we understand, the lower self breeds everything that harms. Breeds ignorance. So when we are unknowingly don't know the knowledge of our covenant, it begins to make us into ignorance. It breeds ignorance for us to become poverty manifested. So not knowing who we are, this is poverty manifested. Nobody don't owe anybody if they don't know they owe you.
That's right.
So ignorance don't owe anybody. It's when you call them up and say, hey, you owe such and such. Not that you keep ignoring you owe such and such. When it's time for you to pay, your enemy, do he ignore that every month? Do he ignore you owe him something? That's a good point. Do he ignore rent? But you ignore that he a criminal on your land.
Look at that.
But if you take on his contract, then he's not a criminal in your land. You adopt the same values that he have, and you pledge allegiance to that value system. England represents the United States.
How about that?
So when we talk in England and Rome, that's United States. And United States have an objective is to keep all natives poor.
Yes, that's the mission.
And how you keep the natives poor is by obliterating the natives' covenant. So the old question was, what was you before you was converted into Christianity? That was your native culture. And in order for you to become part of their contract, they needed you to leave your native covenant. Your native covenant has always been Islam. And when you follow the covenant of Islam, that's called Islamism. Islam is how you get out of poverty. There's something called the way of Islam that you may not ever heard of. See, there's a certain way of Islam. If you heard Islam is not a religion, it's a way of life. This particular way has a name. This name is what has been stripped because this name indicates the native covenant. And so long as they can take away the name, they can take away the covenant. And if you agree to the new name, then you agree to the new contract. So if they can lead you away from Sufian and lead you to black, they can begin a new contract. And the whole purpose of this is to make sure that this person who agreed with the new contract, who is turned black, is poor by all means necessary. You will be poor just by being taxed to death. You will be taxed into poverty. And when there ain't nothing as a penny left for them to take as poverty, that's where the word property is coming for your property. And your property is under contract with the new contract. And as long as your name is under the new contract and you identify yourself as the participant of that new contract, then you agree to all the terms and conditions accepted and approved by you. So the new contract will never tell you about the way. For thousands of years, this has been hidden, the way of Islam. The way ends all poverty because poverty deals with money. Money in the form of the United States deals with a medium of exchange. So to receive money in the states of United States, you have to exchange something. And this is called value or morals. To get money in the United States, you have to exchange your values or your morals, which is your covenant, to receive the money of the states. This is how the contract works under their terms. So if you use terms like Christian, that's under their terms and conditions. You use terms like black, that's under their terms and conditions. You use terms like I praise Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Those are terms and conditions of the new contract. So all these people that agree to those terms statistically would be poor.
So I just like to say this, and that be the case. They even also use the king back as well too, because of the fact that you're and still stand today and they're being sworn in when they go. One other thing I heard that President Putin of Russia called Donald Trump and congratulated him and told him that there's a world order, there's a new world contract. And the way he was talking is no that now that you just you willing to join on. How you get the
That's right. Because underneath him is all of the blacks, which in their name all the riches are made. But they don't know that but they're not black. Under another's covenant that calls them black because the word black in their terms and conditions includes them in their Bible. This includes all black people. So now all black people is the trust social security. That contract is your allegiance to this group called the government, who is not a government. They only institute certain educational principles. You can agree to them and they can a process called naturalization, where they take natives from out of their native divinity and convert them into a new nationality. And you do that through a process called naturalization. And once the natives agree to this, comes with them to agree, so we can have a group of people paying and suffering. Because you couldn't have if everyone is rich. Poverty breeds ignorance, whereas austerity sustains holiness. Shame on those that change and or corrupt the words of Allah concerning simplicity and austerity to the promotion of poverty. Poor in spirit. That's called poverty. Someone wrote that you are to be poor in spirit. This is robbing you. They are corrupting the words of Allah that has no such meaning and creating new words to identify a certain classification. So now this sets the foundation now of poverty. Now we can be led out of poverty. We need to understand what leads us out of poverty and hardship. K.O.S. is what leads us out of poverty and hardship. Knowledge breeds wealth, and poverty breeds ignorance. Once we have a knowledge of self breeds wealth. Lacking knowledge of self breeds poverty and hardship. Because in their way, you need money to get what you need. In our way of Islam, long as your character good, your name good, you can bring the money back 30 days from now. This how a real, let's just say, black people would be. This how black people are in nature. See, and we have to understand these money strategies to steal your wealth by you not knowing yourself. If you knew your covenant, you would not be poor. In your covenant is all your treasure. But if they take you out of your covenant, they took you out of your treasure house. So now you don't have a storehouse full of treasure now. Now you have nothing but wishes and wants. And now the person with poor morals, lacking great character, has all your resources. And that's through a process called naturalization, making you from a Sufian to a black man. This changed you from the way of Islam to the way of Christianity. And in Christianity, estates, trust, wills, all this stands for in Christianity, even taxes. In Islam, there is tax. We have to understand this is why this is the foundation to lead us out of poverty. In order to now get out of poverty, you need a set of new words. You need a set of new words to new worlds. So words that keeping you in poverty is going to keep bringing that world back. Using new words will bring you into a new understanding, a new way of looking at life from your own existence. And this new way would be a new outlook of making money, having money, and what is money from Islam. Oh, yes. Mhm. Okay. Now this is key. We need to understand this about money. Sufa 11 and 18. The false worships only one deity, being money.
Mm.
Being money. Now, this is where it becomes very powerful if you understand the way of Islam already defeated Rome. Historians know this, scholars know this, academians know this, but your average Joe don't know this. That the way Sufian Islam already defeated Rome. Rome just came in through the back door and created false texts to lure you away from the text that we have on the screen. See, this text predates your King James Version by 1,000 years. And as the world is following Jesus Christ, the world is supposed to be following Sufian Allah, Sufian Islam. But we had the tax invaders come and they intercepted righteous law. The Sufian represents the great righteous law, which is the greatest gift the Creator gave to humanity. To prosper and to never want and to ever be in lack. To build civilization through natural and fair law. But we have been deprived from this education due to our word for anything that's not of the way of Islam. We called it haram. So if you notice, the word haram got the word Rome in it. Anything from Rome, anything of Persian, anything of Romanism, we shun it. Because the goal of Romanism is the exact outcome of what we have now is the United States. Ruling the world for money. When the world is here by character. And so this is why God is on the money. These are clever individuals doing things to put certain awarenesses on something that they want you to have the awareness of so you can take the contract. So God is on money, and money is a contract because it has two signatures on it, making it a bilateral contract, making there's a grantor and a grantee, a trustor and a trustee, a beneficiary and a beneficent. So duality, and this is the monic of Christianity. God and the devil and Satan, God and Satan. God is on money, but Satan ain't on nothing. People can do violent acts and get money, get rewarded money, and then they'll say they like to thank God. That's the God on the money. And see, that's Haram. That's the God of Rome. Those who worship the ram. Those who created the myth of Hiram Abiff. For Rome to touch a black man and black woman and a black child is considered haram. See, in the way of Islam, a white man can't touch a black man. But in the way of Christianity, a white man can touch a black man. One system is based on equality. The other system, the latter, based on inequality. High versus lows. Rich versus poor. Justice versus injustice. Yes, first class against no class. Haves versus have-nots. So all of this springs forth from Europe because of this whole thing that's got to deal with Abraham. So before Abraham was on the scene, this wickedness of Romanism is why Abraham left Europe. So when you read in your text that Abraham left the land of Ur, that's the land of Europe. And he went to the land of Canaan. That's the land of America.
How about that?
We have to understand our history. We are descendants of Abraham, and we honor the covenant, the law, which is divine law. Now, this is what their contracts never have in them. Their contracts never have divine law written in the contract.
No.
Meaning they can now do whatever they please. As Aleister Crowley taught them, do as thou wilt. So when you come under this black cloak as a Christian, they can now do as thou wilt with the black man, black woman, and black child. You cannot fight back. You cannot protect yourself. You cannot defend yourself. You must ignore it and turn the other cheek and keep taking pain and suffering. As they were saying in these days, take it from behind. See, and this is why we have what we have today. When you mess up our native covenant, our native Islamism, this is what Romanism is. So they traded places. They are the true black man, black woman, and black child. And you following the way of Islam is the new white man, the new white woman, the new white child, not blonde hair, blue eye. We talking character, purity. Purity is a law, and the law is the ruler of the flesh. So only way you can come out of this now is through using new words. If not, then you're gonna bind yourself to worshiping poverty because all of their words that they gave us is for poverty. So they stole all of our words and reformed them so they can have their terms and conditions to them. So we're gonna bring some new words for ourselves to use in these times throughout lifespan. Our children need to know our own language.
Mm. That's for sure.
Yes, our children need to know our own language.
Mm.
This is the main thing we want to know. This is why Rome keep digging their hand in our pocket. Sufa 138 and 24. So now we got the stage set now. So how people have their holy book and people have their way that they talk about their holy book. So coming from a Christian perspective, a Christian, when talking about a book from their Bible, they would say, I'm coming from book such and such, let's say book of Genesis. And when they want to describe what they're talking about, they say chapter 5, verse 13. Our holy way is saying Sufa.
Mm.
So when we talk about the divine creator, out of our holy book, we say Sufa. And this is how we dedicate ourselves with new word, Sufa. So how they have the chapter, we have our Sufa. The way we follow is called Sufa. So any form of Islam, if it doesn't contain Sufa, then it's not the way. It's just some man writing something down. It didn't come from the divine. It's not divine instructions. Sufa represents divine instructions. And this is our covenant. So now reading out of a Sufa, Sufa 138, 24. A good man seeks a life dedicated to Allah and leads an austere life free of material distractions. Whereas the poor man is too distracted with materiality of their circumstances. So this is how they confuse money. They made you think money is for material, for materialism. When money is to keep you away from material distractions. So every holiday, they want you to dig in your pocket and spend money on their material distractions, distracting you from the spiritual. What you can be doing with the money, because the money is spiritual. You can be doing things in the way of Islam with the money. This is how we have our own, in our own name, in our own language, for our own, profit by our own, shared and distributed to our own. Not that you tax every day and you don't get nothing back. And when tax season comes, they might even take from you. As much as you tax, your tax income does not balance that out. That is called poverty. So when we talking about giving money in Islam, we have a word for that. When we doing things in the way of Islam and we dealing with money, we call zakat. So as your Christian perspective would say tithes or taxes, our divine word is zakat. And this is where you taking money and doing it in a spiritual way. See, these words been took out of our native tongue and it's been implanted by a foreigner's tongue. Now, when we get money, we want the material distractions. 5 cars. Only got one body, but 5 cars. 5 homes. These are the things that makes us materially distracted. It's not that black folks don't get no money in a year's time. It's what the black folks spend their money on. Non-spiritual things, material distractions. So now, if you want money from the creator, if you want money in your life from the divine, from the honest way, you have to understand the word. The reason why the word money is so powerful for the United States is because the United States know the power of where the word money come from. The word money comes out of Islam. They changed the word to suit them to win. You know how people change the rules so they can win. So that's what they did. Our word for money is Allah, money, ah. When you want money, you say Allah, money, ah. And let this be the predominant theme throughout your vibration, talking, speaking inwardly, thinking, and talking outwardly, speaking. These are the vibrations that brings heaven onto earth. Now these been sacred tones that have been hidden from us that we are getting back today for us to take advantage of and to change our life, our family lives, our community lives, the nations at hands, to your whole country, to the global universe, to make this world a better place. So in order to get this new language, you're gonna need new literature. In order to change your language, you're gonna need new literature. You're gonna need the Sufian Islam so you can change your literature, so you can change your language, so you can begin using new words to build new worlds that's governed by the supreme, divine, great creator, not by maritime and land, law of the land, rules and changeable by questionable men. But we're talking divine law. When you say the word Sufa, you are saying divine law, divine wisdom. All words being of the divine creator. So we supposed to have, when we say the word, like we say the word of God in the wrong terms and condition, it's called Kalima Allah. That's the word. So this is how everything was created through Sufa Kalima Allah. This is how the whole universe was created. And your DNA is tied to that. And your DNA, did you know, is made up of sound? All you got to do is sound this stuff out, and your DNA will start shaping. Your DNA is built off sound, y'all. Sound converts into light. So all you got to do is speak. This the furthest you got to go to make anything manifest. All you got to do is think and speak when you follow the way of Islam, Sufiana, Allah. This is the native way for the Sufiana Americana. That's our new word. To bring about your paradise on earth. You can't be in America and not know your way. Your way is the Sufiana as you are the Americana. Now, if you're not descendants of Abraham, then you're not a Sufiana. And Sufiana means black. Black man, black woman, black child. So if you don't have the dark skin or melanin, you're not a Sufian.
How about that?
The Sufian is our divine national title of our nativity. Sufian means those who are dark. So the Americanos, the Sufiana Americanos, the copper color, the ones found here by the Indo-Europeans. See, the Europeans are very familiar with Sufiana Americanos. These are the dark-skinned people of Europe of the ancient past of Abraham before the Holy War broke out. And we had to come to America. Abraham had to come to America. And this is considered all of the East. So Europe is not in power because they are powerful. Europe is in power because they have your native covenant. And since you don't know what your native covenant is, you don't know what Islamism looks like. Getting money is Islam. Building structures is Islam. Riches is Islam. Music is Islam. Culture is Islam. Food is Islam. Everything in the universe practice Islam. but the black man and the black woman and the black child. But their gift has been given back. So as long in our name, for those who are not ever teaching us the holy teachings, is called Haram. That is our name for Rome. That is our name for Persians. That is our name for anyone who try to take us away from our divine creator through mind. So if they want to take you away through mind, then they need to implant something in your mind. And that's called ignorance. And long as they can plant ignorance, which is lacking knowledge of self, lacking K.O.S., this is where ignorance, poverty breeds ignorance. Give you an insight of the wealth. This is Sufa 108. Concerning wealth, the greatest wealth, the most valuable of treasures. Wealth and splendor distinguish men, not for their presence, but for what it reveals as to character. This is what we're talking about. Character or riches are not found from an abundance of animals, from an abundance of servants, from an abundance of land, but from an educated mind. This is what character is found in an educated mind. Now, what they want us to believe by their written text, they want us to believe that when we talk about money, that we talking about gold and silver or $100 bills and a dollar bill. When the ancients spoke of wealth and splendor, like Musa, Abraham, it is to knowledge, not gold, silver, or paper. See, and this is the way of Islam. Store your treasures in the mind, not on earth. That's what I was doing wrong. I was storing it up on the earth, and I was finna stack it on the earth too. Wrong place. You'll know, cause guess who will come? The thief will come. He trying to come in.
You know, when you really stop and think about it, you stacking it up for the thieves and the robbers, cause they come to once you get it, and then they kill your children and your wife and all to get it. You know?
To get it. This is what I found out.
You're really creating a problem for your family when you stop and think about it. Yeah, because they come after you.
They're coming after you. Because we're talking about people without character.
That's right.
These people low moral.
Yeah.
They think low. They low thinking.
That's why they rob and kill in the street today because of low morals. You know.
That's right.
That's why we have all these wars and rumors of wars because of low morals.
That's right. And the ignorant believe in low morals.
Mm-hmm.
This what he believes in.
And now we so sick in the head now, mind wise, that the only lives important is a Russian wife and a Russian baby, a Israel wife and an Israel baby, an American wife and an American baby. These are only people important on the planet. Kill the rest of them. See, this is where we at now. This kind of sickness. I'm not going on with it. I'm not.
They saw it the way of Islam don't.
That's
So
right.
all the people got to do is come to the way that don't.
Right. That's right. That's it.
You ain't got to make no path. It's already here. If you don't play that, then join the way of Islam. Because the way of Islam don't play. You're going to be free. Mm-hmm. You're going to be pure. Mm-hmm. You're going to live in peace. Mm-hmm. You're going to live in love. And you're going to have truth every day of your life. Now, this one comes out of Sufa 138 too. But this one's in 10. 138 and 10. The way of Islam prohibits certain actions that cause men and women to digress backwards. The way of Islam prohibits certain actions that promote ill will and allow evil to flourish. See what I'm saying? Rome already been defeated by Sufiana. This is what they had to hide in the past. So they can bring their new false religion created by them in the name of the true divine religion. Sufian, Asalam, Islamism. So no power of authority created by a corporation will ever give you the freedom and the benediction of your rights back to you and obey them. See, only the way of Islam obey righteousness. Because the way of Islam includes all ways, all religions, all faiths. So when we're talking about owning, you can own anything in the name of Allah. We know that, do we? See, we have thought with the business education they taught that is about own. Only thing you supposed to own is yourself. After that, this is why we have to understand the way of Islam. I self, Lord, am master of self. Self-mastery. Islam is self-discipline. This is why Rome don't like Islam, because Islam is self-discipline in the way of love, truth, peace, purity, and justice. This is why evil can't flourish wherever Sufian, Asalam, Islam is. Islamism. See, and this is why the Holy Prophet Nobuju Ali came and put the cover to poverty. Every black man of some considerable wealth uses Islam. Islam is not only your divine birthright, it's also your political fortress for you to do international business and get money internationally. So when you hear me say Islam money, this is talking about all money belongs to Islam. Even the idea of Christianity belongs to Islam. Any money made from Christianity belongs to Islam. See, once we understand who you are, what your DNA is, and why someone with a different image than you wants you to worship a different image than you. See, because the Sufian is the authority in the heavens and in the earth. Out of the Sufian comes the white or the light. It's a blessing to have dark skin, brown skin, light skin, as we all say in our culture. Light skin is not what we think it is. Light skin is a Sufian. We talking if you're not pale, you a Sufian. Only person that's not a Sufian is pale people, and that's just by law, natural divine law.
And you can see it.
So they can't have your nature or have any culture of your nature. Your culture holds all cultures. The caveman didn't make Islam. Islam is older than money. And Allah is older than Islam. So when we are talking about the divine creator, who is Allah yourself, this is why your glory has been ripped from you. And in the time of when they knew that if we didn't have the way and we, like our opening, divine opening says, reveal to us the straight path. The straight path is called the way. The way of those of whom you favor, not those who go astray. They leave love, truth, peace, purity, and justice to pick up the lower self that breeds slander, hatred, lewdness, murder, and everything that harms, bringing you into a poverty, which is self-destruction itself. And we begin to see a large understanding we haven't been told. And how they use words. Think about it. The caveman ain't just invent words. He used something that pre-existed him to create a dictionary, a lexicon, an encyclopedia. It's called Islam. The way of Islam, Sufian Islam. This is the way of Abraham. This is what civilized all lands before colony and colonization was ever a thought. Divine law was already on a mission, and it already worked because Rome did not kill Islam. The way of Islam is here today, and Rome have done all they can do
Still.
because it's a way of life. And so that's why they created a false religion so you can not believe in a book than your own life. You will believe the promises that a book is offering instead that you already received a promise called life.
That's right.
Ain't no struggle in life when Allah is life. You living in Allah. If you can think, that's Allah. All you gotta do is think for your life. You don't even need to breathe. You can think for your life, and there go life. And we turn this down for weak money, weak privileges. We might well say it how it should be: dead powers.
Yeah.
We turn over our life for dead powers.
Dead.
And this is how you begin to worship the dead. Allah is the living ability. With Allah, nothing is absolute. I know if Allah saved me in physical life, our spiritual life is even easier. For everything was first created spiritually, then naturally. So if we talking about a true savior, I'm telling you from experience, not from a book. Allah is our savior, not only my savior. Allah is my Lord, not only my Lord, our Lord, your Lord. This world is Allah. This is why we have to tune in to ourself, because only yourself is Allah. They say handmade. That's how Allah made you. Allah made. A mind made pure. Ourself law, Allah's mind. Ourself law, love, Allah's mind. For Allah's mind created you. This is why you exist. You exist as Him, but you don't understand that because your covenant. All the forefathers was perfect. Abraham was perfect, upright, never failed to dishonor. He always honored the divine creator. See, and they wrote these texts, they believe you that these men wasn't perfect and upright. Yeah. So you will fall into those beliefs. Because the easiest thing down here, while on the natural plane of life, is for self to be convinced. Your worst danger is you convincing your own self of something you know not nothing. You know not nothing of. This is why in Islam, acquiring knowledge is a divine commandment because you don't know. All this time, I didn't know. So that means you can go to the grave without knowing. Knowing what? Knowing who? All this time, you didn't know who. And this is the beautiful part of knowledge itself to get to learn who.
I guess that's why the bird is called Kula.
You know? Mhm. And as Michael Jackson said, look at the man in the mirror. That's who. That is who. If you want to know who is Allah, look in the mirror. That one upholding that character right there. Can you stare at yourself in the mirror? Can you look at your eyes in the mirror and look at your own reflection? Or are you that horrible of a person? That's a test of your character. Can you stand in a mirror and look at yourself and look what you are, look what you became, look what you've done, look who, look who, look who, look who caused it all. Blame the image in the mirror. If you don't get the message of this message, the way of Islam has saved all of the people who believed in it, as all the false believers believe in the false Christ. False God has been created for you to believe in, but anything false don't exist. So the false God is all outside of Islam, but the real deal is in the way of Islam. People been hating to hear these words. Oh yes, it's a joy to be able to speak these words. I remember when I was young, I wish I could speak these words. Now that I'm older, I can. Now the way can just come out for all of us. There's no more pity party. There's no more harm to self. There's no more believing in doubt. No more believing in ignorance. No more worshiping idols. The old way of Islam causes one to digress. You can't do nothing but excel. Islam excellence. Islam is perfection. That's why they told you can't be perfect because they can't be perfect because they wasn't created perfect. Allah is perfect, and everything Allah made, created, was created perfect.
That's for
Uh,
do know this. When we look around in our condition, we see everybody, and everybody got Bibles on Apple. I can't tell you how many Bibles everybody has. But look at the condition. Somehow stirred us wrong because there's no way that we could be on the bottom.
Right.
How could you linger for 500 years on the bottom rung? You know something. Y'all be up there with that one. Wait. Something.
I sure look pray they do. Pray this message get across to the hearts.
Oh, it's Richard. It's plain as day when we pray. And they have a record. What you did was shine a light on that darkness that they possess.
Mm-hmm. And to them conditions you mentioned, the Moorish Holy Quran say when conditions change, they disappear.
See?
So if the conditions still the same,
Same.
they ain't started no change. That's why they got to get the book removed. If they ain't did nothing with the book by now, that's why I might come to the Bible pick up. Give me your book. I'll keep it in storage. You ain't using it.
Yeah, they ain't using it properly.
We don't destroy sacred texts. So
right.
So we just put it in the storehouse.
And a lot of the things that they have read have filed their mind because what they read and what they believe because it had holy in front of it. And when you see the word holy, you think you at the right place.
Mm-hmm. The word's gonna tell you where you at.
Yeah. I wonder why none of the governments and states and federal and local and borrow, they never use that word holy.
Yeah, I haven't heard it much. It's only in scriptures. And why? Because that word come from the background of Allah. You get the word holy out of the word Allah. And so they never want us to pick up on what holy really is. Because that's something he not. His nature is unholy. And your nature is holy. So it will always be a clash between holy and unholy. Because they low in morals. So a person in high morals ain't finna tolerate someone in low morals. If you're a man, grown man, that's what a child is for. You learning.
Yeah.
So when you grow into the perfection.
Yeah. That's right.
But a grown man over 40 and still in low morals, he don't really just know he alive because of lies.
Yeah.
Because everything is supposed to be growing to perfection.
That's right.
So if you getting wicked and wicked and wicked and wicked, the way of Islam don't allow evil to flourish.
That's right. That's right.
So meaning you will get wiped off the planet. So just as they wipe our people off the planet, this is how we used to do evil.
Yeah.
Now they wiping out the good off the planet.
That's correct.
This is why the way of Islam returns. Evil must go, and it must be wiped off the planet by the people. Just like people put the evil on the planet.
Yeah.
to make this world a better place, we have to remove evil. And the evil man ain't gonna give you right to take him out. To remove the evil man off his throne is to give you, is for him to give you, is for him himself to give himself his own death toll, his ticket to death. What do people do when they overthrow their authority? They don't allow him to live. He shanghaied them. He killed their family. He beheaded, damaged, stole. Children, family, women are hurt behind tyrants. Tyrants. And if any man stand on the test of that, he ain't a man. A man ain't scared to die for the sake of a better, greater, noble cause. And for evil to be permitting itself this long, it's some weak men on the line. It's some weak men that ain't spirits. Spirits ain't scared of evil. And by right, spirit will, I'm telling you, will have all rights over demons. A demon cannot handle a spirit. A spirit at its high voltage and a demon at its high voltage, you will see who will win. It will be the spirit. The demon cannot overcome a spirit. A spirit is a self. A self is from Allah. Ain't no demon stronger than Allah that created all things. We talking about Rome versus you. Rome mission is to wipe all good off the planet. Kill your mother, kill your father, kill your children, kill your brother, kill your sister, kill your niece, kill your nephew, anything to keep their family around. And so, only way to make America great again is through Islam. Everything else has been tried. Your president's been trying without Islam, ain't completed not one iota from the first president to your 47. From the first to your 47, black men, black women, and black child don't know themselves. And they have a lingering generation that they are leaving behind to be enslaved by the master. Your children will be slaves if you don't correct your way while you alive and direct them to the way that is the divine. This technology is finna rape your children. It's not made for you. You finna be out of here. This made for the future generations to come. And if you don't know what technology is, that's what destroyed the world before. The same technology we're using now is the same technology that destroyed the old world of purity. So now everybody just want technology. When the ancient technology was knowledge. Having knowledge was the technology. So just like technology today give you the ability to use knowledge, it's the same way what ancient technology was. It was self-divine, self itself as knowledge, providing everything, not a machine. Hands and feet, head manifest. Natural as the sun. We build everything, either from thought or from hands. And it's time that we return to the right way of our native Islamism. Your indigenous culture is native Islamism. Nigger and native go hand in hand. A nigga is a native everywhere he goes. And they don't want to tell you you a native. So they call you other words, black, African. Nigga is older than the word black, older than the word African, older than the United States itself. Only thing older than nigga is Sufian. Sufian is the name of the divine creator. Nigga is not a divine word of the creator as a name. That name, just as you got your street name, then you got your government name. Allah's government name is Sufian. Allah don't have no street name. The Almighty is a name of the divine creator. The most highest, that's a name of the divine creator. So we talking about don't nothing predate Allah. Allah is older than any religion, anything wrote down. And so we are returning to the way of Islam. This is what the New World Order is. They already know. But they need mass deceptions in the way. They know Sufian Islam is here. And it's coming to get what's his.
That's right.
And what's his is all the people. And what's all the people? That's the property of the divine creator. And the divine creator is not happy till all his people come home. Now, people who is not his people, you choose to honor when you do choose to honor. But those who are choosing to honor the divine way, they are ready for guidance. And this knowledge is guidance. It's time you need wisdom and you need guidance. More than money, more than cars, more than insurance policies, more than anything that you can fathom. Wisdom makes all that. Wisdom creates all that. Wisdom predates all that. For you was made by wisdom. You are the money to the creator. You are his account. So we have to understand the knowledge of self and that mind is put here to gain perfection. That's why your mind never forget. Do you think you'll forget when you become perfect again? Your mind will never forget. So as you grind your way up to perfection, life after life, till you get to eternal life, till you get to everlasting life, this is perfection.
There's something else I observed that when we get angry, if somebody does something to you, you won't forget that. If somebody tell you the truth, you'll forget that. But you're clean. 40 years, 100 years now, they'll remind you what you've done back to them. But it won't remind you what you do. This is what I'm observing now 73 years ago. Yeah.
That's why.
Do something wrong to somebody.
For people to think that
people. It could be small or great.
These are dangerous books.
And they won't forget it. Do good if you get that in the jumping jack flag. And so many people today is so saturated with the bad to it's gonna take a miracle to find a good spot. It's there, but you better hurry up because erosion sits in like bad and evil. You know what happens when erosion come in.
And also, our beloved Jesus was the first of all the human race to demonstrate the resurrection of the dead from a living mind. And this is the state where the resurrection takes place in the mind. In flesh of man, there is the essence of the resurrection. This essence, quickened by the truth, will raise the substance of the body to a higher tone, a higher word, and make it like the substances of the bodies of the planes of heaven, which human eyes cannot behold. There's a holy ministry in the mind. The essence of the body cannot be quickened by the truth until the mind is solved. The flesh must disintegrate. This is death. Your mind inside of it, it gotta come out. It's just for a moment of time, a fleeting time. It's not, you're not having a body for everlasting. That's your spirit. You having a flesh for to do something in a moment.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to understand 1,000 years is considered one day to Allah. In the fact of you have not reached 1,000 days or 1,000 years is one day. So when we're talking about lifespans, you coming to resurrect something. See, this is why money is your mind. Your mind is the money. This is what resurrects. This is what take you out from being ignorant to wise. This will take you from being dead to alive. This is what they call the will of man. When the will of man and the will of Allah is one, the mind is resurrected. This is how powerful knowing the knowledge of Allah is. That you cannot die if you know the knowledge of Allah. You will raise a dead corpse to a living corpse. You will ascend from mentally dead to mentally alive. So this is why they wanted to infect your mind, because they know the power of your mind. Your mind can resurrect. Your mind never forgets. So just because you're in a new body, it don't mean that your mind forgot all of the works that you accumulated to get to perfection. So the biggest joke from receiving this false contract is that you die. The biggest joke down here. The biggest joke down here is that you can die. A Sufian cannot die. For a Sufian is one with Allah. So in these other doctrines and religious dogmas, you can die. And death is predicated heavy. Our ancient belief was a such thing as death. Death is a philosophy that you can take on, just like you took on calling yourself black. And you see the philosophy that comes with that. In your own psychology, you rather live another's philosophy. You have your own self, your own psyche, and you following a stranger's philosophy. Someone else gonna save you. You should be poor in spirit. These are things that have affected the minds of the believers of those beliefs. So you have to do a mind cleansing from wisdom. Wisdom will remove all the junk out of your mind. So if it's still junk in your mind, it's more wisdom to put in there. You'll know when more wisdom is in your mind because less junk is in there. Thoughts is like treasures. Every thought should be valued, not something you throw away, not your mouth. This is something you keep within that keeps the storage of the generating of the electricity to keep generating the magnetism so you can be your electric magnetic being, meaning alive and living, walking around. You want to be walking around. There's a lot of gifts come with it. Because right now you living in 3 realms. And we got 5 more minutes and we're going to be closing. The dead can't cross back over and live in a body at the same time. You can visit the dead. You can come back to the body, walk in the flesh. You can lay the body back down and go into the dream. Don't have to stay there. You can pick up back your body and come and manifest things in the field. If y'all don't understand the power that the divine creator, whose name is Illallah, in Sufiana Americana tone, and we sitting here playing, you are a divine being, immortal human spirit, made in the form of Allah. And your enemy never wanted you to know that. And now you know the way of Islam is called Sufian Islam. And the way of the natives is native Islamism. Everything we do is Islam. Talk, walk, speak, anything, everything is holy and divine with Islam. So with that being said, we want to cross the borderland at will. Go from flesh, go to the divine, go from divine, go to the flesh. Enjoy life. And understand the power or the knowledge of truth. Salam, salam, wadu.